Okay, today we're going to work on measuring in the form of a little parts box, and we make these every year. This one's actually sheet metal, and I'm going to show you two methods. One is if I was in the shop with the correct tools for layout, which makes things a lot faster and easier, and then one where you can simply do it with a ruler, a pencil, and paper. And so there's three dimensions we're looking at, and we're looking at this being 3.5 inches wide, which is between my fingers here, and you can kind of see that in the drawing. We're looking at 5 long, and that would be in this orientation, and then 1 inch deep, so that's in this orientation. Okay, so it's pretty easy. We got a lot of whole numbers there, and then we will get into some things that we got some terminology here, but some fractions over here. We're going to have tabs, and they're going to be 1/2 inch, and those connect the corners. So as we look into this box, let me get this, there we go. Right in here, you can see there's a tab. Okay, and then we're going to have hems. Hems are going to be 1/4 inch, and those are on the top edge. That gives it strength, and it gives it a surface that's not sharp. And so the hems are right up here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started and work on our measuring. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first way I'm going to show you is if I were in the shop and I had a square, a nice piece of wood to strap it down, and I'd be simulating a right edge, so where it came off the squaring shear. And so I've got my board marked out where I've got my 90-degree, and I'm nice and tight to the edge here and taped down. All right, and then I've got myself a combination square or a tri-square or some sort of square and a nice ruler. Okay, and so I've written my dimensions down right here in the center, and that's going to just kind of help me develop this. And then I'm going to be working off of these two edges. So since this is my square side, you're always going to see my measurement and my square worked off of these two sides, and that just makes things go so fast and so easy. Okay, so again, the first way I'm going to show you here is I'm going to use tools that I would have at school. So a nice ruler like this, a board to tape things down, a square edge, a nice square, and somehow I got to find 30 degrees, so I have that here at home. But this would simulate the material, the scrap, the sheet metal, excuse me. It's scrap as well, but coming off of the squaring shear, and we'd have a right angle. And so this is why we do it this way at school, but for home purposes, I'm going to show you another way. And at this point, you'd want to cut it out and just see if it works. Okay, for you at home, well, all you're going to need is a ruler, piece of paper, pencil. It'd be nice to tape it down. Makes it a little more stable while you're working. And I would be using this corner here, this right side, and knowing that it's square, I'm going to do a very similar thing that I did up here where I worked off the edge. And the only thing is I'm going to have to measure twice to make parallel lines since I don't have a square. And so that's going to look like this. We've got our hem starting first, and I'm in 1/16, and I want a 1/4 inch hem, so I'm going to count over 4/16 to make that hem. I'm going to go ahead and go with that one side that's at an inch. I'm looking at 5 this way now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need the other 1 inch side, and then 4 ticks or a 1/4 for that other hem. And now at this point I'm going to do the same thing, and this is where the square made things a lot faster, but that's why I know this still can be done as long as we have a ruler and we measure accurately. And should work out. So I might as well just fill those in while I'm here and see the significance of making 2 measurements so that I can make a parallel line there. Down the center of the V, last hem. Okay, now I need to measure this way. 1/4 inch hem. 1 inch side. Three and a half inches on the width. Another side. And then our last 1/4 inch hem. And then I'm going to measure again down here. So that I can make some parallel lines to the edge. Hem. Side. 3 and a half. Side. And hem. Okay. Down the center of the V. Still pretty easy, you know, as far as layout, just not quite as fast. Okay, so here's my bottom. I got side, 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 and then I'm going to put my tabs in here. 1/2 inch. And this, remember I got to measure twice because I don't have that square handy. Okay, and then we got to put these angles in, and so what I'm going to have you do is, sorry about this, but anyway, we're going to go 1/2 inch. All right, and we're going to center a 1/2 inch tab as opposed to 30 degrees. So got a 1 inch side, we found center, we're going to come 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, and that's going to create our angle. That looks pretty good, and we'll do that on all sides. Okay, and then up here for these angles on these hems, we'll just go 1/4 inch, which is 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch here, should make 45 degrees. 1/4 inch. Lay out another tab here. Just here's my 1 inch side. Find center. I'm going to center a 1/2 inch. So we go 1/4 because that's 1/2 of a 1/2. And that gives us our little setback there to create that 30 degrees. Okay, so it's developing. Definitely slower though. tab here for you in case you didn't get it the other couple times. So we got 1 inch divided in half, so there's a half, and then we go 1/4 inch each way. 1/4 inch is 4 ticks, and that's going to give us that 30 degrees. And you have it. And then usually if I'm in class, I'll have students kind of darken in areas they know they want to remove, because there's sometimes a lot of lines and things can get a little confusing, and you don't want to cut off anything that you really actually need, like a tab or a hem. So there you have it. At this point we'd be cutting it out and seeing that all sides are the same length and square. Okay, now if we were dealing with sheet metal, we'd be using shears, obviously, but we've got scissors here, and I'm just going to kind of show you how I like to cut them out. I like to cut to open areas. There's only the one, this one's the only one that's not an open area, but I'm going to come to that point, and now I've created an open area. So whether I'm using scissors or shears, this is how I like to cut things out. This is another kind of a blind corner, so I'm going to go there. It's the only other time it's not an area that's been cut already, which I call an open area. I don't have very good scissors. And then these two are definitely cut into an open area, because I've already cut to there. That would actually come out. Okay, once we get it all cut out, we got to think about something like what's called the folding or the bending order. And since we don't have a pan break, we're not really, that's not as critical, but this is how you would do it if it was sheet metal. You would start with these hems. So bending order, all hems first. Okay. Actually, I want this to go that way. So hem 1. If I just kind of crease it, maybe it'll flip right where, yeah. Hem 2. All hems first. Okay, so I got all my hems ready to fold in. Okay, now we're going to do the sides with the tabs. So these two sides with the tabs, really the ends, they're going to get That's it. As far as quality and measurement, we're looking at these corners. I want to see them pretty much perfectly line up. Okay. Then we come along with a spot welder and we connect them, or a pop rivet of some sort. That's all we're looking for. All right, well, let's go use those measuring skills and see if we can't come up with the first paper box. Good luck.